Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bald Avenger Show. I am Jason Cisneros, also known as the Bald Avenger, the tattooed guru, the purveyor of all things common sense, the king of the Misfit Nation, and a legend in my own mind. In my own mind, for those of you that are new to the show, I always follow it up with in my own mind. I know that the legendary stuff is all here. I get it. But why aren't you a legend in your own mind? That's what I would say. This guy's so arrogant. He's so full of himself. He calls himself a legend. I'm just going to click off of here. Click off. Click off, bitches. Get out. You know, we only want people here that want to hang out. These are like-minded individuals. This is Misfit Nation, baby. This is a group of human beings that don't let stupid things get in our way of changing the world. So I just want to welcome everybody to a Monday Night Live. Again, thank you so much for spending your time. I know it's your most valued commodity is your time, and I just want to let you know that I do appreciate it, and always want to come here and to deliver some amazing content. You know, and most of it comes from a standpoint. Those of you that know me, I started doing this about a year ago, the Bald Avenger brand and the Bald Avenger show. And I did it because I wasn't hearing a lot of centrist side type messaging to where we don't have to pick a side, right? Misfit Nation is, we did an entire show last week about exactly what Misfit Nation is, or at least in my interpretation. And I think everybody has their own interpretation of what Misfit Nation means to them. But it does mean that we're here. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're independent. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight. It doesn't really matter, right? And at the end of the day, it's just about a bunch of people that have messed up in life, that have made some mistakes, and they're doing the best that they can to come together and make the rest of their life, the rest of their time together that we have amazing, right? And to learn from our experiences and to take our game to the next level. And unfortunately, what happens when most of us make a mistake is somebody wants to put a pin in us. They go, you know what? That was it. You're born and you got to the age of 23, or you got to the age of 27, or you might have even made it to the age of 35, but you fucked up. Now you're done. You're done. Game over. You are out of the game. There's nothing that you're over. Your time is up. And then they hold that over you. Not only they hold it over you, but you hold it over you, and they keep you down. You keep you down with all that bullshit, right? Which was just a mistake, right? I always use the example of the idea of a child. Like if your kid falls over the first time, you go, "That's it, you dumbass little baby. You're never walking again," because they fell down the first time. And yet we treat ourselves like that. Life, we're just a bunch of big babies, right? We're just a bunch of big babies. We're learning along the way. We're experimenting. We're attempting things. And some of us learn bad traits, right, that causes suffering in other people. And we stick to that theory, but that destroys our soul. That we begin when we thrive off the suffering of someone else, that begins our downward trend. We begin dying in that moment, in my belief. The moment that we make a mistake, we can turn it around, forgive ourselves, make it good with the people that we may have harmed along the way. And then we learn from that and we go, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to attempt again. I'm going to take a bigger shot. I'm going to get back in the game. That is when we're really living. Think about any time that you have felt really alive. There was no certainty or very little certainty attached to your life when you were in that place. When you were in a place of oh my God, I just decided to leave my job. Oh my God, I just decided to leave this relationship. Oh my God, I just left this, that, or the other. At the end of the day, those are the times when you feel most alive, right? Even, no matter what's going on, and there's some amazing stuff. I want to talk about it tonight. But tonight specifically, before I get too far off the beaten path, is what I've learned over the last 90 days. Those of you that have been with me along the journey know that 90 some odd days ago, it was about 110 days ago that I had a big exit out of my business. I sold all of my companies except for 3, and found myself in a very strange place, right? A very strange place. And so it kicked off this 90-day challenge. As I was going through it, I'd sold it, just trying to figure out what the hell, right? And I've made some notes because I want to make sure I don't ever do these things just to talk about myself. There's always a lesson embedded in the stuff that I talk about. And it did, Sandy says it was 91 days because of Chicago, because we had Misfit brothers and sisters that we were out a little too late, had a couple too many drinks, or maybe it was just the right amount of drinks, and I wasn't able to get up. The challenge, for those of you who don't know, was for me, I was going to get up at 4 a.m. and I was going to be out of wherever I was, house, hotel, whatever it was, that I was going to be out of the house or the hotel at 5 a.m. doing some sort of physical activity, working out. But I went live every single day for 91 days. Well, it was 90 days, but one of them I didn't, because I just said, I'm going to rest my head. I'm just going to rest my head. And it was like 3:30 in the morning. And the next time I opened my eyes, it was like 7:30 in the morning. So I missed a day, but I made it up. Y'all know I made it up. I went all the way through. And so anyway, so that was my 90 days. And it was because a couple of things, right? I wrote down what I was feeling, what I was sensing, because I had just sold this giant, my businesses. And it was a sudden, like, there's two things, and I want to equate it to the different things that you may have felt in your life, so that you can sort of follow along with me. I felt a sudden jolt of freedom, right? A sudden jolt of freedom. I was pretty much already free. Those of you know, I've been doing charity and stuff like that. I was pretty much already free, but this was a major jolt of freedom. It was, all right, now what? Like, think about if you left a relationship at some point, right? And you were like, oh my God, I was in a terrible relationship, and now you wake up one day and you're in your own place. You're away from that person. You're like, you got invited on a date, like, by somebody else for the first time. You get this sudden jolt, like, you're like, holy shit, like, I'm free. You get out of college, you get out of the house when you're a kid, where, you move into whatever it is, you just, there's this sudden jolt of freedom. And a couple of things happen. And this was what I was experiencing was, now what? Like, for me, now what is not a familiar place to be. Now what? Because I plan. I mean, I've gotten my friends joke, and the people that are around me, they make a joke all the time. Jason doesn't take a shit without a plan. And so one of the things that I was feeling was, I had a plan. Wasn't ever really planning on selling the companies. I had a plan to continue with philanthropy and charity, and building out the Bald Avenger brand, and doing charity and comedy for charity to spread a message through humor and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm like, I was wobbly, y'all. And some of you that were watching those Facebook Lives, my team had me on alert, because there was a couple of times where I'm like, Joe Callow, who pretty much runs Anton J for me. I go, Joe, I may call you on the way to the airport and be gone, right? See, exactly. Emily knows. Everybody was on red alert, because I came very, very close to going, fuck it. Because there's a lot of challenges that taking on this responsibility. You all know, you're with me. You all are taking on responsibilities of your own. This Misfit Nation thing isn't just a free ride. It's a constant challenge between each other to take our game to the next level. And there was a couple times where I'm like, man, I could get on a plane, I could disappear and just be gone. And all the trolls that want to come after me, all the people that want to tear down what we're doing, or stand up in an audience and be pissed off. And like, I always relate to the time when I was doing a presentation, and we were talking about the sex trafficking of these little girls and boys. And this guy stood up and he's like, well, don't you know that there's a high recidivism rate for these little girls to, they go back into prostitution? And I was like, it was at that moment where I'm like, is this how stupid fucking the world is? Is this how stupid people are? Where no matter what we do, you're going to be torn down for it, right? And I can't remember who commented on it. I posted the thing about $1.8 billion from Trump going to to the world of autism today. And then you go through the list of things, and people will tear him down. Like, it's always funny. And I think about it that even Mother Teresa had a hate group, right? How does Mother Teresa have a hate group? And so and so as I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, I really just don't have to put up with that shit anymore. Like, I could bounce and like write checks and feel good about it from way in the background. And then I thought to myself, and I want to follow along. I just was in an unfamiliar place, right? And then I started to click back into my training, right? Click back into what I talk about. It's coming, Tatiana. There's going to be a special coming out next year, I promise. And to be in that place, it was just like the training, right? You're training when you put yourself in a place of discipline and you go to the gym day after day after day, and then all of a sudden you get a little time off. Like, it's that training that kicks back in, that you go, you know what? I have been saying for years and years and years in my businesses that structure and process create maximum flexibility. So this feeling that I'm feeling, I need to put process and procedure back in place so that I can create maximum flexibility while I'm still remaining consistent with who I have become as a human being. If this happened to me 5 years ago, probably not 5 years ago. It would have had to been before I watched the movie on sex trafficking that Tim did. So maybe 8 years ago. If we would have went 8 years ago and this would have happened, I'd have been gone, y'all. I'd have been gone. I would have been like, phew, see ya. Those that know me, there's an airplane. I'll send anybody to pick you up, but I'm on this. I'm not going to tell anybody where I'm at. I'm on an island. Peace, right? But what had happened is, during this period of time, I figured out that it wasn't just about money, that it wasn't just about myself, that it was my purpose on this earth was to help. Domestic violence was my first cause. Feeding people was my second cause, and human trafficking of these little girls and boys is my third cause. And so I was like, I want to remain consistent with that, because for whatever reason, God or the universe has uniquely qualified me to do the work that I'm doing, just like God or the universe has uniquely qualified you to do your calling, right? This is a direct call to those of you that are in Misfit Nation, that are following the causes that I love, that you love, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be those causes. Whatever it is that drives you, whatever it is that lights you up, whatever it is that pulls you out of that self-effacing energy where you're just constantly looking at, poor me, I don't have this, I'm a victim, I'm this, I'm that, right? And so it boiled back down into my grandma. And you hear me talk a lot about my grandfather, but my grandmother is just as important of a figure in my life. And she said this thing over and over and over again. She said, my nickname in the family was always Jake. And she go, Jake, stay busy or cry, stay useful or die. I mean, like, again, it's amazing that I'm 48 years old. Thank you very much. Just as of just a week ago. It's amazing to me how grandpa and grandma's words come back to me, and my mom's, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that here in just a second, but about how powerful my grandparents' words come back, and they just, at exactly the right time for them to make a massive impact in my heart. And so as I'm going through this, my grandmother said, stay busy or cry, stay useful or die, right? And so as you think about that, stay busy or cry. What do most people doing that have time to bitch, moan, become trolls on the internet? What do they have? They have too much fucking time on their hands. They have too much fucking time on their hands. They have time to sit around and cry. Most of them are miserable, right? Most of them are miserable because they're not busy. They're not keeping themselves working. They're not keeping their mind engaged. They're not keeping their body engaged. Stay busy or cry. Stay useful or die, right? Which means that, and I had a small, short experience with this where I tried to retire many, many years ago. And man, I just was miserable. So if I'm not useful, in other words, if I take this time and I retire to an island and I go somewhere and I take the easy way out, right? And I just decide I'm going to go ahead and disappear because I made it. Now I start to die. And these words all come back to me and they just flood me. And it's like, there's the exact right answer. And Noel said that my grandparents are always with me. 1,000%. The day my grandma died, I looked up in the sky, and we all look for different things. I don't really look for, I'm not a signs guy, for so to speak, but I looked up in the sky and I saw a big J in the cloud. Like, it was a perfect J, right? It was a perfect J. And so it's definitely not Jay Shetty. That's my grandma, Grandma Rook, right? Grandma Ruth. But I think about the fact that they're always with me, and it happens in those moments where I'm off balance, and it happens when, you know, a lot of times I walk around and I'm expected, much like a lot of you, because there's not very many followers that are actually following the Bald Avenger. There's a lot of leaders that are looking for better leadership skills, and so a lot of you, are looking at this. And you know that the world sort of lives or dies on your certainty, on your execution. There's so many of you, I could just list you all out here and show you that the world depends on you. And so when you have those moments of uncertainty, where do you go, right? Where does your wisdom come from? Where's the well that you go back to, right? And so for me, it's my grandparents. It's, you know, even though I'm not necessarily a religious guy, it's the Bible that I got locked in my room. That was the only book that I had when I would get beat up so bad that I'd get locked in my room. It's my mom's wisdom and her heart. And it's those moments where these things come rushing in. I haven't said in 48 years, I have never repeated what I just said. I have never repeated because I didn't think about it. I didn't think about stay busy or cry, stay useful or die. I didn't think about it. I've never said it ever until now, because somebody needs to hear it, right? Somebody needs to hear it. And for me, what it meant was, Jason, you're just getting started, baby. This is just a starting point for your journey. Look how much things have changed over the last year with Misfit Nation and with a comedy career and with opportunities that have come up that people will see in 2020. Like, look at all of that stuff. That was not created based in you just being a businessman, right? That was based in you being a world changer. That was based in that idea that I always retreat to. And you know, as I was going through this, I did exactly what I coach everybody to do. You have to radically alter your behavior. You have to radically alter it. And so that's why I was like, I'm going to get up at 4. I'm going to be out of the house at 5. This is nothing that I've not done this before. Not only that, but I'm going to put myself on blast on Facebook Lives to make sure that everybody sees this, so that I was held accountable, and you all held me accountable. And I love that. I love it. So I reminded myself of 3 things as I was going through this process. Number 1, I am a vessel to ease suffering. I have been made strong through my suffering. I have been made strong through the challenges that have happened in my life, just like you, right? Us, those of us that are on this call. Because there's not, again, you're a special person that if you're following me or you're watching this shit on a Monday night, you're like me, right? We're here, right? We're here. And so we're wired to ease suffering in the world. And by any means necessary, right? These were the 3 things that I fell back on. I was like, all right, Grandma, I hear you. Stay busy or cry. right? Stay useful or die. Right. I'm going to remind myself of 3 things. I was born to ease suffering in this world. Everything that I have been through in my life built a fucking beast of service, a big muscle that cannot be destroyed. There's no weapon that can be formed against me that will ever succeed if I am in the right, if I'm doing the right things, if I am doing and being the person that I was put on this earth to be, right? And that's the number 1 thing. Number 2, those of you that know, I had to change my mindset from when I was a child. My primary question used to be that how can I protect myself? Because I had to. My dad, my adopted father, who I used to call my dad, would beat me all the time. And I had this thing of like, now I got to protect myself against everybody, because if that asshole who's supposed to be my dad isn't protecting me, then who will? How do I protect myself? I changed that and I switched it up through repetition, through intensity, through physiology, focus, language, and emotion, multiplied times with intensity and multiplied times repetition, right? And so that happened, and I believed, and I am a powerful world changer that enjoys every breath. That's number 2. Number 3, that my mom, I told you I was going to come back to my mom. And I've said this a couple of times, but here's the alignment of it, is that my mom had a conversation with me about my first name, Jason, and why she decided to name me that at just exactly, again, the right time for me to hear it. And it was, Jason, I named you that, number 1, because I wanted you to be a healer. Number 2, because it was one of the most powerful warriors in history. And she thought she goes, I thought you'd grow up to be a doctor. And she says, what you do, and I'm trying not to get emotional because I don't want to fuck this up, but, but she said, what you do is more important than a doctor. And I thought to myself that, you know, and not to say doctors are fucking amazing. Like I have so many amazing doctor friends, but she's right that the work that we are doing together, y'all, and I want to make sure that you understand this. There is no way that we could be making the impact like we did last weekend, the impact like we are going to do in 2020, the impact that we've had over the last couple of years together as Misfit Nation. There's no way that we could have had that impact had I decided to become a doctor. Had you decided to go down the traditional path, think about where you are, right? Anita Myers is on here, her book, Undercover Heroes. Had you decided to go down a traditional path that you thought you were going to go down and not do the thing that you're doing now, Christopher Kaysen, right? Celia, all of you, Kimberly Lechnick, all of you, Esther, all of you, if you had done the thing that was, you were going down a path, all of us, right? You know, it's almost like Misfit. We're all disturbed in some way. And here's how. Somewhere along the way, the shit that we had that happened to us, it disturbed our pathway of what we thought we were going to do. And here we are, right? Here we are. And so my mom reminded me of that my name means healer, number 1, and number 2, it means warrior, which I'm a powerful world changer that enjoys every breath. That's what I turned it into, not knowing why my mom named me Jason, right? What does your name mean? I want you to think about that for just a second. Because if you've hung out with me for more than 5 minutes, if you see me in a restaurant, if we're driving in an Uber, if somebody tells me their name, I always ask them one question. What does it mean? What does your name mean? Why did you get named that? And for a lot of people, they're like, my mom liked it. My dad liked it. They named me this. Look, you were given your name for a fucking reason. Whatever name it is that you have, it's given to you for a reason that's just as unique as you are on this planet. It's just as unique as your fingerprint. It's just as unique. There is nothing, no one else on this face of this planet that will ever, has ever lived or will ever live that will be you with your name, that's gone through everything that you've gone through. Never. So lesson number 4, let's keep going through this stuff. Think about your name. Here's the other thing. If you don't know what the meaning of your name was or is, give it a meaning that means something to you. Because you may not know what it is. You may not know what it means. You may not understand the reason why you were given the name that you're given. You can make up your own damn name. You can make up your own damn name. So lesson number 4, what else did I learn on my 90-day? After I got through all that stuff that I just mentioned, I learned that I need to keep my mind open and alert to opportunity. That's number 1. Keep my mind open and alert to opportunity. Now, secondly, very closely tied to that is I need to keep myself closed off to off-path opportunities, to the shit that's not in alignment with me, right? Because we get, I don't know, I imagine that you're just like me. Every single day, there's always a new business opportunity. There's always a new opportunity to go to a brand new yoga class or this event or that event or this event. It's just as important for you to stay on path as it is for you to shut off those options and those opportunities. We have to do this in business all the time. David Kessler here is a brand new partner of mine in a new business that I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit, that understands that the business that I just took over and I'm CEO of right now, that I got back, and I'll tell you a little bit about this, is that there's 500 opportunities because the owner is fucking brilliant and a genius. When I say genius, I don't mean a run-of-the-mill, oh, they're so smart. No, genius, okay? And I'm going to have him on the show. You're going to meet him. You're going to hear about it. But the reason why I'm in there is because there's healing technologies and grow technologies that can change the world that didn't have focus, right? And so keeping my own mind open and alert brought that opportunity to me. I wasn't looking for another business, y'all. I just sold mine. But this one popped up and I was like, nah. And David tell you, I'll be like, I'll help you guys. I'll give you my opinion. I'll help you along the way. And then all of a sudden I'm fucking CEO and partner in the business, whatever. So number 1, keep your mind open and alert to opportunity. Opportunity that is in alignment to where you're going, right? To where you're going. And a lot of people don't know where they're going. It was like that. It was just a quote that I spoke about the other morning with Mark Twain. And he said, I can teach you the secret to how to get from where you are to where you want to be. The problem is I can't find anybody that knows where they want to be. Right? So that's the issue. A lot of people don't get specific about their outcome. They don't get specific about where they want to be. They don't get specific about the life that they want to leave behind them, the legacy they want to leave their children, the legacy they want to leave the world. We think we're so small. We think we're so infinitesimal. We think we can't impact or affect the world. We can. One person coming together with 2 people, coming together with 3, coming together around each other for proximity, like we're going to do on February 27, 28, 29 in Naples, Florida for the very first Misfit Nation Ball, for the very first Unstoppable Growth Conference. That is us coming together, and we're making an impact every single day. We're making an impact every single day. So I kept my mind open. I kept it off. I kept it closed off to paths that were off path. I kept it closed off to bad energy people, right? I kept from breaking my own rules. I have a notebook that we'll do an event on this, right? Maybe I'll bring it to Florida, but I have a notebook and in it has, Jason doesn't do these things. right? Has red flags. Never do this, never do that, because I've learned along the way that when I do them, their failure ensues. There's some of them, if they're tagged red, that means that the failures were epic in proportion. So massively don't do that stuff. Okay. So keep myself closed off. That was number 5. Number 6, what else did I learn? I learned that people are my greatest joy. This is what I learned in this 90 days. People are my greatest joy. My mom in that same conversation reminded me that when I was a kid, I would wait outside and I couldn't wait to talk to people. I couldn't wait to laugh. I couldn't wait to smile, even through the beatings and all the stuff that I went through, that I had a spirit that was literally unstoppable, right? Unique, right? Or surprising, based on the fact that that's what we've called the event that we're all going to be hanging out at. And so people are my greatest joy. The right ones. Okay. The right ones. Look, there's so many of you. I see your name scrolling here. I see them scrolling. I see you at events when we get together. I see your lives. I see the things that you're doing, the books you're writing, the events you're throwing, the events that you're speaking at, the families you're bringing together, the deaths that you're mourning, the sicknesses that you're fighting. Like, I see all of that. And one of the things that I admire most about the people that are in this is that you don't leverage each other. You don't leverage each other. You know, there's not a, if you do this, then I'll do that relationship. And those people that make their way into Misfit Nation, that are leveraging, I'll do this, I'm going to manipulate you, I'm going to leverage my relationship to you, like, you know, I'm going to play off of your name, Jason, and have you do a bunch of work and all that kind of stuff. And then when you ask me for one thing, you know, I'm not going to give it to you. All of this, like they don't last very long in Misfit Nation because we don't leverage each other. It's called unconditional love for a reason. Unconditional love is something that is learned. It's a learned strategy. I think that we're born with it, and then we learn to become prostitutes with our emotions, with our activity. We stop giving without the intent of receiving. Look, I've been burned so many fucking times. I've been burned so many times of helping people get their stuff up and off the ground and out into the world and put my name behind it and brought them in for all of y'all to fall in love with them and get their stuff going and then to be like, and then to be disappointed and just be like, you ask for one little thing and they go, well, you got to do this, or I'm not doing that. Or it's a prostitution sort of relationship when you thought it was an unconditional sort of love situation. And it's heartbreaking when it happens. It's heartbreaking, but the show must go on. Right. So the right people, it's going to take some time. We're going to, like the saying, right? You're going to have to kiss some frogs along the way. So be it. So be it. It is what it is. Misfit or Celia says it's a verb, right? It's an action. Love is an action. Number 7, Misfit Nation is an actual motherfucking thing. It's an actual motherfucking thing. What does that mean? When we go, I've been to all over this country this year, and Misfit Nation shows the fuck up. Like, I mean, Chicago, I was like, oh, how many of you went here? And there was like a little couple claps. And I go, how many Misfit Nation? Wow, like boom. And then, Misfit Nation shows up in New Jersey in this middle of this kind of stuffed shirt, like never seen any crazy fucking Gorilla Growl bullshit going on in their entire life. And we got one table in the middle that's just insane, and it controlled and managed the state and the energy of everybody in that room, right? Everybody asks me all the time, Jason, with all of the stuff you do, with the high-end consulting that you've done, the businesses that you buy, the businesses that you've turned around, all of that stuff, Why do you sell a 12-week course? It's because of this reason. My idea, and I said it a long time ago, is that if I could, and it was Joe Callow, it's not my idea, actually, it's Joe Callow's idea, that he manipulated me with my own words. He said, Jason, why don't we have an affordable product out there to teach people that can't afford to hire us as a company? Why don't we have a product out there that people can afford? And I was like, you're right. And he tried for 3 years, and finally he got the right sentences put together. And so people wonder all the time. I said, you know what? If I can help somebody that's not doing super well right now financially ramp up their business, they're going to make more money, and we're going to be tied together through Misfit Nation. And so when it comes time, when we've got these missions, right? When we've got these little girls in Guatemala, this was what New Jersey was about, was these little girls in Guatemala. Carolina from La Alianza, that now is a part of Covenant House, went down there, built an above ground thing for little girls that have been raped and got pregnant. Very specific, 10 years old to 15 years old. And those little girls got brought into the state because it was a lot of the high level officials, the wealthy business people that were raping these little girls, got brought into a state facility. That state facility got lit on fire. 41 little girls lost their life. They got burned to death because the powerful didn't want anybody to find out the fact that they were raping these little girls, that they were doing the work, doing the stuff that they were doing. And we were there in support of Carolina, who has constant death threats. And so what happened was a table of people that have gone through, I think almost everybody at that table of Misfit Nation had gone through the 12-week growth, how to master your business G-Spot at that table. They're all doing better in their business. And guess who brought in the most money? Fucking Misfit Nation, right? In the middle of a bunch of strangers. Sorry, I forgot to put it on. Anyway, but in the middle of a bunch of strangers, in a part of the country where nobody would have come together before, we all showed up, and we lit that room on fire. We lit the stage on fire in Chicago. We do that shit together. I cannot do that by myself, y'all. I cannot do it by myself. The 2020 is going to be a siren call for all of us to show up all over the place so that we can let people hear the call that you need to forgive yourself, that you are not broken, that you are not fragile, that you are not less than, that you do belong in this world, that you have a passion and a specificity that I can't do, that they can't do. You have a magic inside of you that when it's lit on fire will change the fucking world, right? Will change the fucking world. That's who we are. And we can't do that by ourselves. We can't do that like pissing in the wind, right? It might seem like a shower, but it's not. Anyway, so that's who showed up. Abby Moreland is one of them. Didn't know what the hell she was getting into when she heard me speak. Got the 12-week course. Figured out some big shit in their life. And now is living the life of her dreams and making money, more money than they ever expected. And showed up in New Jersey and wrote a check. Y'all, wrote a check. She would not have been there. She would not have been in that position had we not been able to gather together, right? Had she not done the discipline, had she not executed on these things, had she not known what her destination is. Look, she envisioned the place that she has, one of the greatest, most beautiful retreats in all of the fucking country, much less Montana. She lives in what she had envisioned in her mind. She lives there now. She has horses there now. She does coaching there now that bring people in to have an experience with those horses. That's what happens. Emily and the shit that she's doing, it's mind-blowing. And the things that she writes checks for charity. What else? Okay, number 8. I learned that discipline combined with a relentless commitment to self-analysis and modification is fucking rare. I literally wrote the word fucking rare on my thing. I want to say that again. Discipline combined with a relentless commitment to self-analysis and modification is fucking rare. If you catch yourself complaining about somebody else, if you catch somebody complaining about, if you are hanging out with people that are complaining about other people, you're in the wrong fucking group, and you yourself are holding yourself to a tiny, minuscule outcome that you were not meant for, right? If you're talking shit or hanging out with people that are talking shit, you're in the wrong fucking room, or you're choosing to be there because you want to be a loser yourself. There, I said it. Oh, this wine's going down a little faster as we go. So discipline combined with a relentless commitment to self-analysis and modification is fucking rare, right? Self-analysis, that means looking at ourselves in the mirror and then modifying our behavior. Huge, okay? Everyone can make the other person wrong to remain comfortable. I'm reading the stuff that when it came to me, I'm reading it out word for word. Everyone can make the other person wrong to remain comfortable with their own weakness. That's the easiest shit on the face of the planet, right? That's the easiest shit on the face of the planet. Everyone can make somebody else wrong. Everybody, you can find a way to make, if Mother Teresa said something to you and it was a little bit, it made you feel a little bit off, and you went, blow Mother Teresa's, right? You can make something up. Everyone, the easiest thing in the world is to make someone else wrong so that you can remain comfortable with the weakness that you have. It takes real bravery to only look to modify your own behavior. I wrote it word for word, okay? Word for word. Number 9, a second chance is rarely a second chance. I want to go back. This kind of relates back to an earlier point that I was making when I get disappointed by certain people that I've thrown, a lot of weight behind and a lot of love and a lot of support behind, is that a second chance, and I'm the king of second chances because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now had other people not believed in me, had they not given me a chance to stop acting like a fucking asshole, right? And causing suffering in other people's lives. I would not be where I am today. What if I was not shown grace? And so it's a giant calling on my life for me to demonstrate grace in my life to people that maybe have been overlooked. Maybe they've had 50 or 70 or 80 tries in this world, but they just haven't had somebody that has fucked up worse than they have step into their life and go, you're not broken, you're not fragile, and you belong here, right? And that's that's all I want to do with the rest of my life, is be that person. And so in being given grace for the rest of my breathing life, I am required to extend it. Okay? I am required to extend it. No matter how badly I want to go, you know what, asshole? You're however old you are and you're in this position, maybe it's your own fucking fault. No matter how badly I want to say that, I am put in a position or put in people's lives for me to extend that, right? That I have to extend that grace. But also understand that I can't want your success more than you do. And when you're taught or shown a different way and you choose to behave like an asshole anyway, I'm out. And you have people in your life right now that you need to be out. You need to be like, you know what? I've given you 50 chances. Because like I say, a second chance is rarely a second chance. I can tell you in my own life, when people were giving me second chances, it wasn't the first time I'd been given a second chance. I'd had judges that gave me second chances. I had police officers that gave me second chances. I had girlfriends that gave me second chances. And you know what I did with those second chances? I pissed all over them by not changing my behavior. I pissed all over them. I didn't deserve them. I didn't deserve that grace that I was shown. Right? So very rarely when you're giving somebody a second chance, is it ever a second chance? It's usually about 100th chance that they've been given. And know that. And just understand, look, is it a fresh new mistake or is it a long historical pattern that just is new to you? Huge question for you to ask yourself. I'm not saying that if you discover that you are you're entering someone's life about the 1,000th time that they have decided to fuck somebody over, that they've decided to lie, that they've decided to cheat, that they've decided to deceive, that you're not the person extending grace that may change that pattern. I'm not saying that that's not it. I'm saying be aware and don't be fucking ignorant. Right? Don't be ignorant. Be well aware. I have said multiple times when people go, Jason, do you know who you're getting in business with? Do you know their history? Do you know their past? Look at all of these examples. I cannot tell you how many times that I walked in, but my eyes were wide open, just looking for those things and looking to hear. But maybe I was the one that needed to extend grace. Maybe it was me that was going to change those patterns. And I would say about 80% of the time, it's true that it was me that needed to intervene, that it's you, right, with your unique patterns and your unique history and your unique story that needs to interact with somebody, because it's you that needs to extend that grace to them to change their life. But at a certain point, you got to cut and go, right? You got to cut and go. And there, that's a fine line, right? That's a fine line. At a certain point, you just got to go, you know what? You want to keep making these mistakes? Somebody else is going to have to extend you grace because my ass is done. My grace tank is empty. I love you, Joshua T. Berglund. What's up, baby? I'm going to be preaching at Joshua's church. Everybody knows Joshua's got a church in Oklahoma now. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to speak in that church, and there will be no lightning that day. I promise. There wasn't in Chicago. We tested it out, Josh. By the way, we tested it out. They put me in a church in Chicago up on the stage and let me preach and let me talk. And there was no, I'm still here. I'm still here. All right. What else? Number 10, commitment is the hardest when the timing is the most difficult. I'm going to say that again. This is number 10 and my final point is that commitment is hardest when the timing is most difficult. When you've made a commitment to do something every single day, right? When you've done so, when you step out in front of everybody and you go, you know what? I'm doing a 90 day deal, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to go live. And you do it, and there's some days when I rolled over, and I'm like, nobody gives a shit whether Jason Cisneros shows up on a Facebook Live at 5:15 in the morning. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. But it was my commitment, whether anybody was watching or not. I was watching, right? I was watching. And so commitment is hardest when the timing is most difficult. And I just want to let you know that these were the lessons. Okay. Now let me just go through. I'll put down some things that have come from it, right? I always talk about the fact that our activity creates a result, right? Our activity creates a result. So what directly came from this, right? So what directly came from this? Number one, bought into and became the CEO of a company that specializes in healing and optimization technologies. Some of the shit, y'all, that I have seen, that I have witnessed, that I have partaken, is that a word? Maybe. That I have experienced in my own body, that I have happened, that I have seen happen in other people, it's incredible. Okay. It's incredible. Second thing is, that this company does is agricultural grow technologies. So making our food healthy again, increasing crop yield and nutrition in it. The gentleman that you're going to be introduced to is a genius. And these are the technologies that are involved in this company, and that I'm now CEO of. You guys will hear a lot about it, because 2020, as you know, the reason why, and I'll finish out with this at the end, but the reason why there's an unstoppable event is because I want you all making more fucking money. Number one Misfit Nation goal next year is that y'all make more money. If you don't want to make more money, or you think that that's a bullshit premise, then you're not going to like hanging around me for the next 12 months, because money is a tool, right? Money is a tool that can do so many amazing things. And if you have a problem or you have a bad relationship with money, get the fuck over it and because you're capable of earning more. You're capable of bringing in more. You're capable of more than you're demonstrating, and you damn well know it. And the next 36 months, 24 to 36 months, is going to be probably one of the last times in human history that you're going to have the capacity and the capability for you to change your stars in your family for generations. And you can sit back and go, oh, the deck's stacked against me. I don't give a, like, that shit doesn't work for me. Like, here's the thing. One of the biggest reasons why I get asked to go speak at other places is because if they go, if that dumbass can do what he did in business, if he can do what he did with money, if he can do that shit, I can do it. And it's true. Everybody watching this is smarter than me in some way. Everybody that's watching this has a talent that I don't have. Everybody in here, you're missing a couple of things. The sequence to how to build a business and how to make money, and the balls or the guts or the lady balls or the man balls or whatever it is that you want to call it, to get off your fucking ass and go out and claim your destiny. That's the only thing that you're missing. And that's what 2020 is about. Number one, making some money. Number two, getting yourself healthy, healing your body, right? Healing your body. And there's so many things that we're doing out there. I watch it with Emily, right? Where we think, and I watch it and I think about some of the stuff that I've done in the past where I think this is healthy, this is healthy, this is healthy. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, holy shit, I've been poisoning myself the entire time. Right? I've been poisoning myself the whole time. Oh, no matter what I buy, it's got fucking glyphosate in it because we've been poisoned. It's in our waterways. It's in our soil. It's all this other kind of shit. Guess what? We can remediate that shit out, but first you got to heal your body, right? We're going to start talking about a detox that is beyond anything that you have ever experienced in your entire life. We got to get your system cleaned out. If you're experiencing pain, if you're experiencing inflammatory disease, if you're experiencing thyroiditis, if you're experiencing all of this shit, we're all different vessels. And when we're poisoned, our body responds in a different way, each one of us. And it comes out as fibromyalgia, it comes out as thyroiditis, it comes out as all these things. And what we have to do is we have to clean that system out and then feed it properly. And we're going to talk a lot about that because I would not have met this man. I would not have been CEO of this company. I would not have bought into this company if it wasn't for this 90-day challenge that I just went through, right? So that's number one. Number two, I decided to take on CERT Ministries. Those of you that know Pastor Rudy, that is a mission, one of three, obviously Feed a Billion, New Dawn with domestic violence, and CERT Ministries. Those are the three that we're taking on, right? We're taking on, and we decided to take on CERT Ministries through the slave-free project that Misfit Nation, the Bald Avenger, Jason Cisneros, the Unstoppable events, we are going to cover CERT Ministries operational expenses for the year of 2020. Okay. That's the second thing that happened. Third thing that happened was we decided to do our very, very first event called Unstoppable. Okay. And Misfit Ball. We're going to have a Misfit Ball. It's been a long time coming, y'all, that we've all kind of gathered around. We've shown up at different events. We've kind of come together at different events, and some of those events had good energy behind it. Some of the events, we were the only good energy at the event. So, that has kind of changed. And now February 27th, 28th, and 29th in Naples, Florida at the Ritz Hotel, we're going to be doing the very first Unstoppable Growth Conference and Misfit Ball. There's a couple of things I want to announce tonight. There's a lot of you that didn't get in to the discount pricing at the end of last month. And so I'm going to open it up for y'all that are watching this for 48 more hours. We're going to go back to that discount code for, I think it's 40% off or whatever it is. But at midnight on Wednesday, it's done, it's turned off, it's gone. So you have 48 hours, midnight on Wednesday, it's done, it's shut off, and we're going to be paying full price. We got a ton of you that signed up. No matter how much I think or how big I think Misfit Nation is, no matter how much I say, I'm a legend in my own mind, no matter how much I call myself the king of the Misfit Nation, it shocks me still to this day how many of you show up at the events I do and how many of you bought tickets to Unstoppable. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I stayed in the game. I'm so grateful that y'all called me, and you held me accountable on these days. I'm so grateful for it. I do have a couple of announcements for those of you. A lot of you bought. I think everybody's being threatened with Tony Rodriguez selling or singing karaoke that night. I promise you, if you come, we will keep the microphone out of Tony Rodriguez's hand. I can't stop him from singing, but I can keep the microphone out of his hand. But here's a couple of things. Those of you that signed up for the VIP, I get to reveal a couple of surprises for you tonight. On Saturday, we got a badass yacht to go cruise the marina, to go take it out in the ocean. For those of you that signed up for VIP, all of the speakers that I'm going to start revealing some of the speakers that are going to be there. I'm going to start revealing them next week. And all of those speakers will be on the yacht. We signed a band for the party for Misfit Nation for the Misfit Ball. And the name of the band is called Woodwork. You can look them up. Total Misfits. And we're going to have, so Woodwork and maybe somebody else, but we're working on it. but Woodwork's going to be there as our band. Total Misfits, completely fit the energy of what we're going to be doing that night and that day and the few days that we're together. Let's see, what do we got? Yep. So next week we'll be unveiling. Somebody please post in here for people to catch this on replay. Put in unstoppablegc.com, please, so that everybody knows where to go get tickets for the next 48 hours. And Sandy, look, they're chosen because they're misfits. So, I'm not going to speak for them, but I think that, whatever we decide we want to do, it's going to happen. So that is happening 27, 28, 29th. I have extended that discount rate. Those of you that are having a hard time finding, somebody put it in there. Please put in Unstoppable GC Growth Conference, unstoppablegc.com. Just put it in the comments for me, please. And if you get lost from that, if you're listening to this later on and the discount code is gone, you can always find it by going to the brand new jasoncisneros.com and Somebody just did, Bonnie. They just put unstoppablegc.com, but the brand new jasoncisneros.com is up. The brand new the Bald Avenger Show.com is up. It's all up. It's all up, y'all. 2020 is going to be badass. So that is my night. Now, let me finish with this. Everybody's wondering what this shirt is all about. It says some amazing things. I'm going to post a picture of it later, but there's somebody that is on watching. This is Michelle Jenks. Everybody, if Michelle's here, say hi. But she has a project called the Fusion Project. And the Fusion Project is to catch girls ahead of being trafficked, right? Like here in the United States, a lot of times traffickers will be hitting up your daughters on Snapchat. They'll be hitting them up on social media, and they'll be telling them, things like that they're pretty, or that they can be models, or that they love them, right? And here let me say this without coming across as too much of an asshole. But if you're not telling your daughters that they matter, that you love them, that they're beautiful, that they're smart, that they're hardworking people, change that. Please change it. Because it's becoming, sex trafficking of underage little girls and little boys is the fastest growing crime on the face of the planet. It's growing faster than any other crime out there. There's somewhere upwards of about 8 million. It started out when we very first started this, there was counted 2 million, then it jumped to 5, and it's about 8 million. And what happens is they get told the things that they want to hear, right? They want to get told that they're loved. They want to get told that they're admired, that they're beautiful, that they matter, that they're smart, that they're just like you and I, right? Just like you and I. We can tell, same thing, Celia, right? Your sons, right? It's not just girls. I have a very, very pointed, I'm attached to rescuing these little girls, but there's little boys that it's happening to all over the place as well. And so when you build in your child to the point of my oldest daughter, who is a pain in the ass, such an identity that no matter what happens to them, they're always going to know that they are Cisneros. Right? That they're always going to know that they're Breen, that they're always going to know that they're Lechnick, that they're always going to know they're Longcar, that they're always going to know whatever your last name is, that they've got a family. And so this organization is going to be a large part of what we're going to be focusing on in 2020, because, a lot of times, you hear the old joke about doctors, and they get into being a doctor, and they're jumping in the river, and they're rescuing people, and they're jumping in the river, and they're rescuing people. They're jumping in the river, and they're rescuing people. And nobody ever stops to ask, who the fuck's throwing the people in the first place, and where, right? And it's the same exact thing with the little girls in the United States. Your daughter, your neighbor's daughter, the girls that your kids are going to school with. We need to stand up, y'all, and stop fighting amongst each other and come together, because our kids are lost, y'all. They're lost because you decided that you wanted to hate Donald Trump, or because you decided that you wanted to hate Barack Obama. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. If you're being used and you believe some certain way simply because MSNBC is telling you to think that way, or Fox News is telling you to think that way, then you're part of the fucking problem. And you need to wake the fuck up, because there's much bigger problems out here that you and I can solve together. And that's what 2020 is all about, y'all. There should be no excuse. Like, we made the pricing for Misfit Nation. We made the pricing for this event The money and all of the stuff that we're doing is going to be going to charity and great causes that you already know about. Just get there, please. Get there, because we've got to come together, because there's a little girl or a little boy that's out there that's starving to get death, that has been taken prisoner, that there's a woman that's being beat right now. Every 11 minutes there's one happening, right? There's somebody that's starving with Feed a Billion. There's somebody that needs us to show up through the Fusion Project. Follow Michelle Jenks. She is a powerhouse. And Michelle, I want to give you a message tonight that in my heart, I know everybody needs to hear. Michelle puts her heart and soul. Everybody has a great idea. I want to start a 501c3. I want to start a charity. I want to make a difference in the world. And then you start the work, and all of the glory goes out the door, because you see these little girls, because you see these little boys, because you hear of one of them committing suicide, because you hear of one of them getting stolen, because you hear of one of them being found deceased, because you hear of all these things, and it crushes our soul to where we think, I started out wanting to do good. I started out wanting to make a difference in this world. I started out with big dreams. And then what happens is the work shows up, and we have to become better. We have to become better. We have to change our behavior. Michelle Jenks stepped up and decided that she wanted to modify her behavior with her charity by learning new strategies. And I fucking admire you for that. And along the way, what's going to happen? This is a very specific message for all of us in Misfit Nation. Because what we decide to do is, if you're a true misfit, what you decide to do is you decide to take on the pain of the world. You decide to take on the responsibility of the world. You decide to take on the pain of the world. You decide that you are becoming a warrior for easing suffering. And that shit gets heavy, y'all. What I want everybody to write this down, Michelle, you included, that we are happy warriors. We are happy warriors. We're not going to save everybody. We're going to see death. We're going to see destruction. We're going to see suicide. We're going to see sadness. We're going to see sickness. We're going to see things that disgust us. We're going to see these things day in and day out. And if we do not decide right now to be happy warriors, then we will be destroyed by the weight that we put on our shoulders. We will be destroyed by the responsibility that we accept, that we can only do what we can do, but no more and no less. We will strive to do the things that we can do with all of our might and all of our power, but not one more. Because if we take on the responsibility of things that we cannot control, if we take on the things that we cannot destroy, or that we cannot control to the best of our abilities, now it's becoming about us, and our power is diminished. Our power is in full bloom when we decide that we're going to do the best we can with what we have. No more, no less. I fucking love you, Misfit Nation. I love you. I'm committed to a historical 2020. You need to be committed to making more money. I got a course that'll help you do that. Get it, don't get it, I don't give a shit. Buy it from somebody else. You got to focus on your health so that you've got all of your vitality and everything that's available to you ready to go at a moment's notice, so that you can execute on love, on loving, being loved, and changing the world. Being committed to proximity. Being in February in Naples, Florida at the Unstoppable event. Get your ass there. You're going to understand why when you get there. And a commitment to being happy warriors. That's it. It's my 4 for the day, y'all. You all see why I couldn't not. I was, there's a couple of times when I was like, I guess, fuck it. The technology is not working. I'll do it tomorrow night. But you're going to see some miracles happen in 2020, y'all. And that miracle is going to be you. That miracle is going to be in your life. That miracle is going to be in your family. That miracle is going to be when you see your finger touch destiny and you change the lives of somebody that never, ever, ever would have felt, would have experienced what they experienced had you not decided to step the fuck up. I love y'all. Have an amazing, amazing night. Remember, get your tickets. Get your ass to Unstoppable. I promise you, there's only one reason I'm doing it. I don't need to do it. I'm doing it for y'all. I'm doing it for this Misfit Nation, for us to show the fuck up and make a dent in the universe. Peace.